Germany has been one of NATO's strongest members for decades, but in 2025, a quiet shift is taking place. While Berlin hasn't officially changed its alliances, signs point to growing economic and strategic divergence from NATO's direction and increasing alignment, or at least interest, in alternative blocs like BRICS and the new Development Bank. Let's unpack what's happening and why it matters economically. Germany is under pressure from NATO to ramp up military spending, diversify from China, and adopt stricter economic sanctions on rivals like Russia. At the same time, it's facing a domestic economic crunch. High energy prices, slow industrial recovery, and a population skeptical of another wave of foreign entanglements. This pressure has created a dilemma. Should Germany continue prioritizing its role in NATO, or should it pivot toward a more independent, economically flexible position? Enter BRICS, and more specifically, the new Development Bank. The NDB, created as the financial arm of BRICS, has been expanding its influence and lending portfolio, particularly in infrastructure, energy, and green development. While Germany isn't a member of BRICS, several key EU economies, like France and even Germany, have explored observer roles or technical cooperation with BRICS-aligned nations, particularly around trade finance and project investment. More importantly, German industries are still heavily tied to China, which anchors BRICS. Despite NATO's pressure to decouple, Germany continues to pursue trade routes, currency swaps, and long-term contracts with BRICS partners. From a purely economic standpoint, Berlin isn't eager to alienate its best customers in the global South and Asia. Then there's the strategic piece. The U.S. increasingly views BRICS as a geopolitical counterweight. That puts Germany in a tight spot. Should it remain firmly within the Atlantic bloc, or hedge its bets in a multipolar world? In 2025, this isn't just theoretical. Germany's reluctance to send heavy weapons, its criticism of extended sanctions, and its quiet economic diplomacy with BRICS-aligned countries are causing friction inside NATO. Even its energy policy, prioritizing long-term hydrogen agreements with Brazil, the UAE, and South Africa, speaks to a shift toward a multipolar energy strategy, not one centered on NATO or U.S. priorities. There's also the finance angle. Germany is growing more skeptical of U.S. financial dominance, especially after repeated weaponization of the SWIFT system and dollar-based sanctions. Quietly, German institutions are exploring settlements in yuan, rupees, and even real, expanding beyond the traditional dollar-euro framework. These aren't major shifts yet, but they're signals. And here's where the economics get sharper. If the new Development Bank continues growing and Germany eventually participates or partners, even informally, that would signify a real pivot, not away from NATO militarily, but away from its economic vision of the world. Because in today's world, power isn't just about tanks and treaties. It's about infrastructure loans, trade corridors, and currency liquidity. So, is Germany leaving NATO? No. But is it looking beyond NATO for its economic future? Absolutely. Whether that means deeper ties with BRICS or a hybrid strategic posture. The writing is on the wall. Germany's economic model no longer fits neatly within NATO's strategic box. And for investors, economists, and political analysts alike, that means we are watching a shift, not just in policy, but in the foundations of the global order.